Hello, lads and ladies. Welcome back. It's the end of the season. Again, it's the end of League One, the review. It's been an up and down season, a season that started at the end of July, that ends at the start of May. A roller coaster. We've had 2 teams go up automatically. We've had 4 teams get relegated to Sky Bet League 2. We had 12 more matches at the weekend that we're going to cover in full depth as well. And to join me is our mate, Jake, from the Stacey West podcast for this season as well, and obviously doing his own stuff next season as well, which we can't wait for. And Jake will maybe joining us at the end of this season and the start of next season. All depends on contract negotiations. But here he is. Hello, Jake.
Ben, hello, mate. Been waiting to speak to you since about Sunday 2 o'clock. How are you doing, mate?
Right. Should we fill everyone in? So, if you have been a subscriber of this channel, at the start of the season, I came up with a good idea of when I'd had a couple of beers, and said, right, what we're going to do, whoever team finishes higher in the league, has to make the other person a forfeit. And we agreed on the other person wearing the other team's shirt. Now, if you don't know, Fleetwood and Lincoln are quite evenly matched. And that was kind of in the games this season. They were and all season long, they were pretty much, a couple of points off each other. And with 15 minutes to play, Fleetwood went above Lincoln and then it all went to pot. So,
a Blackpool player put you back down, Ben, didn't he?
He did, Matty Virtue. So Jake thought it'd be a great idea that I wore this.
Ben, tell them when I brought it up.
He brought this up on the 24th of March, which was 46 days ago. So that was nearly,
you beat us,
7 weeks ago that he brought this up. Now, I can say I've washed it twice. The badge, unfortunately, hasn't come off, and it still stinks of Jake. Before we get on, so I have to do a full stream.
Come on.
Now, technically, I could wear the shirt inside out because that was just me wearing the shirt. But because I'm a man of my word, I put it on. I think it's going to be a bit big for me, put it that way. But yeah. So what year is this from?
That's from the year we got relegated out of the Football League, mate, in 10-11.
I tell you what, right, there's going to be so many screenshots of this moment that are going to come back to one day home. Now, I don't mind Lincoln. I am going to have a shower after wearing this, not because it's a Lincoln City shirt, because it's come from Jake. But here we go. I feel sick. I actually feel sick.
But Ben, just explain to everybody what the circumstances were after you had beat us. You were like 4 points, 5 points clear of us.
Yeah, and then Lincoln go and get 17 points from the last 9 games of the season. They kind of turned into Real Madrid. So
knew it was going to happen, mate. Knew it was going to happen.
Now.
Got it suit him, ladies and gents. Round of applause. Come on.
Right, that's it.
Matt, you keep that on, boy.
Crap it.
Can we have some screenshots for everybody, please?
Right, here we are. Can I just have this like that?
No, mate. No.
See what's nice this up now. Oh, the screenshots have already happened. Oh, right. Jake, should we get on with it, the League One stream? Because the sooner we get this stream out with, the sooner I can get this top off. That's my idea of it.
90-minute stream tonight, Ben. I'm all
75, I'm thinking. I think we'll cut it short tonight. It's what everyone wants. Right, let's come to the comments before. I can't believe I agreed to this. I actually can't believe I agreed to this. Evening, but I got a question. We'll come to MK Dons very soon, mate. Massive congrats to Argyle on winning the league. Yes, massive congratulations. Over 46 games that a team managed to get so lucky and, so many deflected goals. Other than that, baffling that people are saying that. Honestly, they only dropped, 37 points all season. It's a remarkable achievement. So well done to them. Evening, Ben. Great result for Fleetwood on Sunday. Again, had a great season. We are the champions. Hello, Sue.
Sue, Ben, has just messaged me on Twitter twice. So I'm guessing That's a screenshot of you in a Lincoln shirt.
Brilliant.
Sue also, Ben, just before we crack on, Sue got a signed Carl Rushworth shirt at the game on Sunday. So big up to Sue and a big up to Carl Rushworth. What a bloke.
Oh, exactly. Is that a parting gift?
I think so, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, we'll get on with it, right? I feel sick. All right.
Gorgeous.
Barnsley, Peterborough. Again, Peterborough inside those playoffs. They had to have a little bit of luck. They got it. I always said if Barnsley did their job in the last 2 to 3 games of the season and get enough points on the board, I didn't think Derby would get anything at Hillsborough to get in the playoffs. And then they had to go to Barnsley and win, which, although Barnsley's home streak had ended, and they haven't been great the last 3 games since missing out on automatic promotion, which we'll come to, I didn't expect them to win the game, Peterborough. But since Darren Ferguson came in, he's won 13 out of 22 games, and that deserves a huge amount of credit. Before he came in, they were averaging 1.45 points a game. And now you look at it, you kind of 42 points. It's nearly 2 points a game. It's been a huge turnaround. And they've got to have a go at Sheffield Wednesday, who, you look at it, they finished, 19 points behind in the regular League One season, and they could still, get to Wembley in front of them. It's the beauty of the playoffs, isn't it?
Yeah, and do you know what, Ben? Posh, to be fair to him, and I absolutely detest them as you do, Blackpool, I've had a really good year, and since Ferguson has come back in, I don't think you could argue that there's been a better. Well, I don't think you could argue there's been one. Out of the chasing pack and the teams that are outside that top three, I don't really think there's been a better sort of team than them since he's come in. And to be fair, Ben, he's got them playing good football. They score a shed load of goals. Clark Harris obviously finishing joint top scorer with Colin Chaplin. 26, I think they got both in the league, didn't they? They've got Jack Taylor scoring, they've got Mason Clark, they've got a load of great attacking players. And you know what? Going to Oakwell when you need to get a result is very ballsy. And you know what? Peterborough absolutely went for the throat of Barnsley on Sunday, and they deserved the result. They played way better than Barnsley. I spoke to Taylor about it. They were average, and Posh were very good. And you know what? Fair play to them, because they just had to do what they had to do and hope the results went their way. They did swing their way, and Posh have landed in the playoffs. Do they deserve to go up over Wednesday? No. Wednesday have got 20 points better off than them, but they've got a chance, and that's all that matters.
I don't know if you'll agree with this, but obviously they were behind Derby, and goal difference could have been a factor. Potentially in that kind of run at some stage. I think if Peterborough were in Derby's shoes and say they were going in the game in front of Derby, I don't think they would have gone out the way they did. If I'm honest with you, I think it suited them to have to go for the kill, win the game by a couple of goals, and hope Derby lost. And what's cost Derby is one little moment, giving away a penalty kick, getting a player sent off, which we'll come to later on in the stream. And it's just mad that 60 seconds of football has killed 46 games of football. And that is the beauty of football. Barnsley, I do worry about them, though, a little bit. That they've conceded, 4 to MK Dons, 3 to Ipswich, and 2 to Peterborough. 9 in 3. They'd previously only conceded 9 in the previous 8 games, and that included 3 away at Exeter and 2 away at Burton. So the defence has been really good all season. They're also in the playoffs, but they're going to play Bolton. Do you think that defeat to Ipswich just hit them hard a little bit, where the mind's not quite been on it? Because it's really difficult, isn't it, when season kind of ends, and the season hasn't ended for them, but it has for the regular season, because they were always going to finish 4th.
Yeah, do you know what, Ben? I'll make this comparison to the team that you're wearing a couple of years ago when we got in the playoffs. And we'd secured the playoffs with maybe four games to go, I think it was. Thank you, Sue. Well done. We went on a really bad run going into the playoffs, and it obviously cleared to not help us get promoted. But I think Michael Duffy really disappointed in the way he sort of reacted, because when you're going into the playoffs, you want to be going in with some sort of momentum, maybe like maybe a bit like Bolton, a bit like Peterborough. To be fair, I'm looking at the teams. Peterborough are the one that I'm thinking, wow, you're in hot form to go and attack the playoffs. So Yeah, I think Duff will be disappointed. They're a very good side on paper, but they need to be at it to beat Bolton, because Bolton are a very good outfit.
I'd be fearful to play Bolton. I really would,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I predicted them 5th and they finished 5th. And they were comfortable 5th, weren't they, really, when you think about it? They were never really in any danger all season. Kind of, Barnsley were up and down a little bit more. They were kind of, they were on a phenomenal run where Bolton have been kind of that consistent. Or you get a team every year that are consistent, that you never really think you're going to get top 2, but you never really kind of think they're going to slip well down. They're always going to be in the mix for it. And they've got a good squad there. And I think, we'll be doing playoff watch-alongs on the channel, and I think these playoffs are anyone's. I really do. We'll go to the next game as well, which involves Bolton, who won 3-2 at Bristol Rovers. We'll come to Bristol Rovers quickly, because since they got that win at Fleetwood that guaranteed safety, I think they've been really disappointing, where they've drawn 2 and lost the other 5 games. I know they played some tough opponents in there, Derby in there, Bolton Wanderers in there as well. They've had to go to Plymouth. Obviously, they've got more away points than they did at home. I know that's the way Joey Barton likes to play. He likes to be on the counter-attack and get balls forward. How do you assess Bristol Rovers? Because they're kind of a bit like a Lincoln City and a Fleetwood, an Exeter, a Port Vale, and Shrewsbury kind of. If they do the same kind of things next year, frustrations will grow, especially at Bristol Rovers, because you know how tense it can get in that ground if they're losing 1-0. They kind of, it's like the Everton version of the Premier League, really. It's kind of very close to the pitch, and it's a very passionate, loyal support base. They've got to be pushing on for top 12 next year. Otherwise, it could start to get a little bit nasty down there.
Yeah, I think they're obviously a football club, and Joey has mentioned several times that they're trying to get themselves into the same level as their city rivals. And Bristol Rovers, when you think of the history and the fan base and the quality, then you think Bristol Rovers probably could have a pop at getting back into the Championship. But this year, I actually don't think they've had a bad year. I just think they've been the epitome of some of the teams that come up. We look in recent years, we've had Cambridge and Cheltenham. They've obviously gone on to stay in the league as well. I think that Bristol Rovers will need to add quality in the summer window, big time. I think they need to spend a bit of money to try and eclipse what the likes of Lincoln and Fleetwood and Charlton have done. But if they finish around where they are this year, do I think Joey Barton will be under pressure? I think so. Yeah, I do. I think Rovers will think that they're well worthy a place of trying to get into the top 10, because it wasn't long ago, Ben. I think it was just after the new year that Bristol Rovers were about maybe 4 or 5 points off the top 6, and it's just gone completely down south for them. So yeah, a lot of pressure on at the men next year, and we'll have to wait and see. But I think they're going to have a good window in the summer. Something just tells me they're going to sign 1 or 2 big hitters. Obviously, I think they're going to lose Collins. I think that's a given. But we'll have to wait and see. It's a big job for Joe.
Yeah, exactly. They've got so many good players, and they've got a good core, and so many other teams have. It's going to be, I'm going to say, one of the biggest summers for so many football clubs. We'll come to Fleetwood later on, but I've got reasons to be positive at the minute for Fleetwood, which not normally very positive. But Bolton finished 8 points, again, higher on that they did last season. Finished 9th last year with 73, got 81 this time. Obviously, had a good end to the season. And since Wembley, both teams, Plymouth and Bolton, have reacted very positively and going on good runs. I think Bolton won 5 out of 8. Argyle won 7 out of 8. And that kind of pushed them both to where they wanted to be. Bolton, I spoke to a lot of Bolton fans, and this is one of their opinions. One of them said to me, he doesn't think they'll be, he doesn't think they'll get over Barnsley in the 2 legs. But what he does think, if they do, they'll win at Wembley. And it's one of that, it's either all or nothing for him. And I can kind of see it. They've got a good team, and all they need to do is get the first goal. If Bolton get the first goal, they are so hard to play against. It really is. It is literally like next goal wins at Bolton. They get a goal, and you kind of think they're going to keep a clean sheet, or they won't concede many. Conceding 2 actually is quite disappointing for them at the weekend. But they've got one of the best defences in the league, and that's been the main reason, in my opinion, Jake, that they're up there. 22 clean sheets this year, which is a phenomenal record. Yeah,
it's that man in goal, Ben. James Trafford simply should not be playing at this level. And
no.
I think he came out in an interview and said, regardless of what division Bolton are in next year, his future will not be with Bolton Wanderers, which is a real shame for Bolton that they're going to have to lose him. But I don't know if I'm ruining the stream by any way, but they're my pick to win the playoffs. Bolton are
You've
really
already
good
ruined the
side.
stream just by seeing your face, Jake, so don't worry.
Good. Thank you, Ben. They're just in really good form. And Ian Everett knows how to get promoted. He's been promoted out of the National League. He's been promoted out of League Two. He knows what it takes, I think. And this Bolton side just gets stronger and stronger. And do you know what? They went to Oakville early in the season, I remember, Ben, and hit them for 3. And the good thing about Bolton is they've got so many options. You're talking in forward areas, the likes of John Daddy Bodvarsson and Dion Charles, Dan on Lunderloo, the GOAT, obviously, Cameron, Jerome, etc., Kachunga. Most teams in the Championship will probably be envious of that front line. So going to be difficult, but I'm pretty confident that Bolton, they've got a good defence, they've got a good attack. I just fancy them after that Wembley win, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely as well. We'll go to Burton quickly before we come to MK Dons. A good point. Burton getting 56 points. Better's last season's tally on 53. Now, Burton had a very good 36 games last year and a very poor 10 games. And that kind of continued. The first 10 games was very poor, and the rest of it was really good. Dina Manri has done a very good job. And for me, bar the teams that have been at the top, which, Steven Schumacher is manager of the season. There's absolutely no doubt in that. For me, Dino is well up there for manager of the season for what he's done. They were gone. They lost 5-0 to Morecambe. They were losing games, they were conceding goals, and he's done a fantastic job. And Burton, the last 12 games have not looked in any danger at all. He's sorted them out to a T. But Jake, MK Dons relegated. It's weird with MK Dons. They've sacked the manager, which we'll come to in a couple of minutes. But they looked, if you asked me 8 games ago, they were safe as houses. Maybe not, maybe even 4 games to go, 4 to 6 games to go. They looked safe, looked fine, looked comfortable. But the problem is they didn't win in the last 8 games. And I think they drew 6 of them, which are disappointing. The Barnsley one rings out. The Wycombe one also rings out as well. Their drop points. And they've unfortunately for them gone down in, not in great style.
Yeah, I think the whole footballing world will be happy that MK Dons have been relegated this year because of the history. But like you said, Ben, they were nearly over the line. They were so close to being over the line. They just needed a win to go and put themselves, similar to Port Vale, just needed one extra win and they were going to be absolutely safe. They've completely bottled it. They've not done well at all since then. And I think the whole season epitomises, Ben. They're 4-1 up against Barnsley. They probably shouldn't be. And then they draw 4-4.
Yeah.
I spoke to an MK fan after that game because I was at Morecambe. I said, what on earth happened? Like, what happened? And they said they got to 4-1 and they forgot how to play football. I think that's been the story of their season. They've not had an identity all year. They had a clear identity under Liam Manning. They brought Jackson in and it sort of disappeared. He promised a bit more of a pressing, aggressive style of football. I mean, I've seen them twice under Jackson. I didn't think that they pressed or were aggressive in any manner. They were trying to do Liam Manning's style of football with a different set of players for a different style of play. And it's not worked. And ultimately, it's costing the place in the division. And it's a real shame because they've gone from 3rd last year to 22nd this year, or was it 21st this year? It's a shame, but they'll. I have a feeling MK will be back in the next 2-3 years. What
was it? Kind of, they finished on 44, 45 points area. They kind of halved the points, got 89 last year. Finished 3rd. Obviously, it was a year ago yesterday that they were knocked out of the playoffs to Wycombe. I went that day and they were the better side, just Wycombe. Yeah. It was proper Wycombe, really. And it's mad to see those playoffs. Sunderland are up. Wednesday have qualified again. Wycombe were, I don't think they were ever close the last 10, 12 games, if I'm honest with you, although they were, they finished in the top 10. And, these boys as well who are now League Two, it just shows you how much can change in football. And it gives belief that, even if you're at the bottom, you can finish at the top next year. And although if you're Peterborough, Barnsley, Bolton, they're big football clubs, a big budget, and they shouldn't be down there, but you could all of a sudden be down there next year. So football is very interesting. Mark Jackson, I think it's, look, as a call, did they see him long term? I don't think so. I don't think he suits them. Pete Winkleman took a lot of abuse the other day. Again, his plan at MK Dons hasn't been great, but it's one of those, him and, the recruitment were very praised last year and they've not been they haven't done well this year, so they're being hammered. So I get that, but he's
Tough,
kind
though,
of
isn't it?
villain to hero, to hero to villain, hasn't he?
It's
MK Dons.
tough
Let's
job.
be honest, he's not liked by the wider football community, but
Yeah, it's a tough job, Ben. And do you know what? I actually thought Jackson did okay.
27 points from 25 games.
I know obviously the record will say for itself, but I think he did okay. I think they looked competitive in most of their games. There wasn't a game where they got absolutely, battered. They even played against Ipswich not too long ago and only got beat 1-0, which is a really good result.
Yes.
But I mean, obviously everyone's seen the footage of Wycombe getting abused outside the ground. It's a whole hoo-ha, isn't it? The whole reason as to why that club's come to fruition is completely down to him. I think that they've got the right recruitment team in place. I think they've just had a bad year. Liam Sweeting is a very good chief exec and a very good director of football operations at MK Dons. Probably someone that has a very bright future in the game in that sort of position.
Yes, agree.
And I can see him. I mean, I could probably see him leaving MK Dons over the summer period. And that will really kill MK Dons if they don't bring in somebody who's got the capabilities of Sweeting. So, yeah, it's tough for MK Dons. I quite like Jackson. I thought that maybe he was the man that was going to bring them back. I thought there was a long-term plan there. Obviously, he was allowed to bring in his own players in January. They brought that lad in. Can you imagine being Max Dean, who's coming from Leeds, to come and join Jackson, and then 5 months later he's out the door? It's difficult. And football, it's ridiculous. It's getting absolutely balmy, mate.
It is. I agree. Sorry, it was 25 points from 25 games, which on goal difference, over the course of the season, MK Dons will be safe because Cambridge did it a point a game. Yeah. I actually said 45 points would keep you up this year, 45 to 46. It just about did. Next year, I think you might need 48, 49. Yeah. I think we're starting to see the improvement from the 40 points because look, Fleetwood said upon 40 points, it wasn't enjoyable. That should never happen in football. And I'm a Fleetwood fan. It defies this. And I'd honestly would have rather had 45, 46 points and gone down on it than stay with 40 points. It's that bizarre. Forest Green Rovers, I don't think there's much left to say on them. They're gone. They're down. They were down. Let's be honest, they were down in February. They only won one game at Sheffield Wednesday, and that Sheffield Wednesday game has cost Sheffield Wednesday from winning promotion, which we'll come to later on. But Cambridge, the great escape. It really is. They start the season well, won the first 4 home games, went on an unbelievably poor run, but 16 points from their last 9 games, wins over Port Vale, Accrington, Fleetwood, Peterborough and Forest Green Rovers. The biggest one of them all came last week in the World Cup final, as Jimmy Bell said, against Accrington. I always thought they'd had favourable fixtures after they beat us and Port Vale. And luckily for them, it was they were kind of not gifted, but you couldn't have asked for a better fixture to have on the last day of the season to stay up. And they were ready. Sam Smith deserves a lot of credit. And, he wanted to stay with Cambridge in League One and stay with me. He did. Be done. 7 goals in 9 games for that man. A really, really good second half of the season, playing for his future. And to get 46 points is a very good season. And Mark Bonner has done a fantastic job, considering he's had a roller coaster of a season. Neither getting the Rotherham job, I thought he did have it, due to sources being incorrect. And then goes on a bad run. He could be sacked, but well done to the chairman and the board of directors for sticking with Mark Bonner, realising that who they're going to get that's better, and they stayed up. And next season, I see them, they've got a good squad. They should be able to kick on.
Yeah, I think so. I think, like you mentioned, Ben, Cambridge had a really favourable run in Accrington away. They had Burton at home away also in midweek that you would have backed them to get something from. And then, like you say, Forest Green at home, which is a bit of a banker for most teams that aren't Lincoln and Fleetwood, it would seem. But yeah, I mean, I raved about Mark Bonner this time last year, Ben, as someone that I would have put up for the manager of the season. He's had a bit of a worse campaign this time around, but still phenomenal from the position they were in maybe 12 weeks ago to keep them up on the final day I mean, I don't know if everyone's seen it, but Fusion Josh did a really good video. To be fair to him, he's done a really good sort of playlist of videos of following Cambridge over the last couple of weeks to complete the Great Escape. And do you know what they have? And I really like going to Cambridge. It's a really good away day. It's not too far for us. Really lovely city, lovely friendly people, and a really good football club. And it's a shame. It's a shame that football club missed out on the promotion to League One. The fans weren't there. They got promoted. That was a shame. And I think what Mark said in the post-match sort of melee that they had on the pitch at the Abbey, he said it was really fitting for them to have the supporters there with them and help them get over the line this time, whereas they didn't have them for the promotion season. So, yeah, I'm happy Cambridge stayed up. Out of the three that were in danger, they were by far, I think, the better out of the three.
Absolutely agree. We can fly through this next one. Charlton, two sides that have had a decent-ish season. I think Charlton to finish in the top 10, considering it's a very bad season for them. I still think it's decent for a badish season. Again, 62 points is very good. Raksaki's been a shining light, and don't fall in love with lone players. I reckon you'll see him go to the Championship minimum next year as well.
Yeah.
I don't think Charlton can play. He's been good for them, 15 goals.
He's going to go to Ipswich, Ben.
He is, but I think it's going to be very difficult to who you take out at Ipswich. I think you've got to be fair-minded with that. I know he's very good, Raksaki, but this is the issue Ipswich have got. Who do they take out? And there's going to be some unrest there. But again, the main kind of the focal point is Aidan Keener again, Alfie May again. Alfie May scored 20 goals. What is it, 43? I think he's 43 goals in 85 League One appearances. He played every game last year. Obviously, had a couple of injuries this year, but them two, if they keep them, there's no reason why Cheltenham can't push on for a top 12 finish. It really, just a couple of additions. I think top 6 is a bit too much to ask for. You never know. But it's a really good season for them.
Yeah, can't see Cheltenham keeping Alfie May, if I'm honest.
No,
I think they did it. I think Alfie said that he wants to go and progress his career, whether that's, I think he's looking at minimum somewhere like a top 6 League One team, Championship lower end team. I mean, somehow we've been linked with a move for him. If we got Alfie May, I'd be absolutely ecstatic. We'll be linked with another League One striker, which we'll come on to later. He's just such a good player. I think if they had May and Keener, Ben, and if they could guarantee that May and Keener would be there next season, I think they would finish sort of similar to where we've been around, maybe similar to maybe Wycombe, that sort of area. They've played really well, and they've had a good season again. Wade Elliott's done a really good job coming in to replace Duff as well. And then you look at Charlton. Do you know what? I think they've been like the best of the rest, really, haven't they? The teams that have had no chance of the playoffs, but finished 10th. I think they'll take momentum from that. I think they've still got one or two off-field debacles to have. I think Thomas Sandgaard wants to stay on. A lot of the fans don't want him to stay on. Keeping Dean Holden at Charlton over the summer is going to be the biggest bit of business that they do. I think they'll lose a few players, like you've mentioned. Raksaki will obviously head off. I think they'd be lucky to keep Miles Leeburn. He's had a really good breakout season, and one or two others. But I think Charlton have got some good foundations to go on next year under Dean Holden.
Agree. Quickly on Exeter as well, who won 3-2 at the weekend. Not really anything for them. It's nice to them bounce back from a disappointing defeat, kind of spree. If they would have lost that, it kind of would have been, maybe a Burton situation of last year. Port Vale, same this year as well. But the main talking point is Jay Stansfield scoring a hat-trick, which is very good for him as well. 9 goals for the season. He's had to wait for it because he's not been great under Gary Caldwell. But again, first win in 8 games, good win for them, 3-2. We'll come to Morecambe in a bit. Yeah,
it just makes you smile, doesn't it? Jay Stansfield wearing the iconic number 9 that his dad wore at Exeter. That's their family club. I thought it was really touching of him to go and stand in front of the stand of his dad's name on it and point up to it. I was watching it. I'm not even an Exeter fan, and I was in floods of tears, just sort of watching it. And I think Exeter, Ben, had a really good year. Really, they've set the benchmark. If they can do that again next year, I think they'll be really happy.
Agree. Morecambe, Stockton scored twice again, 6-4 for him, and unfortunately for them, relegated for the first time in 102 years. Look, as much as the Fleetwood rivals, I'm not going to dig in because relegation's never nice. Fleetwood put a tasty tweet the other day, and I'm not a big fan of all that, if I'm honest with you. Although it's Morecambe, although it was Blackpool, I've never been a big fan of that. I think that concentrate on yourselves, and if you beat them, have a friendly little dig. But again, unfortunately, they got relegated for them. But again, all the squad's been released. Ownership issues there. Managers out of contract. They've got 5 or 6 players contracted for next season. And unfortunately, they just didn't turn up. They won the previous 3 games, got 10 points from 12. It just didn't count for anything for the first time in 102 years. Morecambe relegated.
Worried for Morecambe as it stands. I know that can all change in a matter of weeks, in a matter of days. They can sort out the ownership problems. I think we spoke about previous bids that have come in for the football club that aren't really suitable, that we're not too sure whether they're going to pass the fit and owners, the test that the EFL put in. But on the pitch, I think Morecambe have had a valiant effort. They
more points than last season as well.
Yeah, I was. Do you know what, Ben? We went up there. Was it last week? Really impressed with them. Really impressed that they sold the ground out. Fantastic day out. They played really well. They were 2-0 down. Came back and beat us 3-2. Obviously, Colstock. They've got some good players, Ben. That team of Morecambe players. I look at it and think it's probably the strongest team out of the 4 that have gone down.
Stockton, Ripley's a very good player. Jensen Weir's fantastic. Adam Mayer. Crowley's fantastic. I'm a League One fan, and I'm sure a lot of other League One fans do this, because obviously you kind of need to know what's happening with League One. When I'm doing these types of streams. But I look at every release list, and normally I kind of highlight, and there's a lot of teams that I kind of go, no, don't want any that are being released there. Yeah. They have got some gems. Yeah. It's literally like going to the reduced section at Marks and Spencer's, and there being some good stuff in there for very cheap. That's what it's like. And it's like, I can think of worse, believe me.
Yeah, there's certainly 3 players from the squad that they have that I would take at Lincoln, and certainly one more loanee that's gone back to Brighton that I think we might have a chance with, because we like Brighton now that we've done Carl Rushworth pretty nicely. So hopefully they fancy giving us another favour. Do you know what I mean? But I think the main news, Ben, is the one that everyone will be talking about is Cole Stockton. He scored bucket loads last year. He's not scored the same this year, but he's sort of played his way into form. Put himself in the shop window. And he's put himself in the shop window over the last couple. He scored against us, twice against us. He scored again on Sunday. I think he scored twice on Sunday as well. Look, the bloke's a good goal scorer, and I think teams in League One will be. Cheers, Alfie. Will be.
Alfie.
Oh, it's Dylan. Hello, Dill. Didn't even see that. I thought it was Alfie. I think teams like Lincoln and Fleetwood should be clambering over to sign somebody like Stockton. And unfortunately, our name seems to be thrown in the hat at the moment, which I very much would take Cole Stockton at Lincoln.
Would you have Connor Ripley?
Do you know what I think?
Goalkeeper shortage. He's found a home. One thing Connor Ripley, I've said this so many times, he needed to find a home. You give him game time every week, and he's a top goalkeeper for League One. People go, oh, he's fat. He's not fat at all. He's a bigger guy, but he's doesn't mean he's fat. And he's a good goalkeeper. He's quick. He's good off his line. And you see what it means for him. Football. The rage and passion on him, and he's a good. I think Lincoln. Just Carl Rushworth is going to be irreplaceable. Let's be honest with you. You're not going to get many like him, but Connor Ripley. 2-year deal, nice place.
Yeah, the only thing I would say, Ben, is that we are very fortunate to have been in the presence of our director of football, Jez George, and he said this before, that you can get better quality loanees in a goalkeeper. So you look at the England under-21s, Ben. How many of them are being loaned to League One? There's Trafford. There's the lad from a loan from City, and then there's Rushworth. You get better quality lone goalkeeper. Yeah. I think that's the route Lincoln certainly will go down next season. Connor Ripley would be a great keeper for Lincoln, I think, if he wanted to stay where we are. But I think the club are moving forward. I think we're looking to find the progressive young goalkeepers, like the lad at Bradford, Harry Lewis. He's definitely someone that I've got my eye on. But Ripley would be a great option for most League One teams. I think he could even be a backup in the Championship And have multiple backup as well.
We'll quickly go through Fleetwood, Ipswich, and Lincoln Shrewsbury now. Ipswich got the 101 goals, which is well done to them. But that couldn't quite muster 100 points. Come on, Ipswich. Come on. You're meant to be good.
Best team in League One, best ever team in League One, didn't they say, Ben?
Yeah, obviously, but unfortunately for them, look, on statistics, they're the best team in League One for goals against, clean sheets, expected goals, possession. But on the stat that matters, possession, points gained, Plymouth Argyle were better.
Yeah.
And Plymouth Argyle got 4 points off Ipswich. I like Ipswich a lot, but I spoke to some Ipswich fans the other day, and I kind of, if you saw my video, I kind of had a little bit of a, not an argument, a debate back, saying I don't know how Plymouth have been lucky. You can get lucky over 5 games, 6 games. You can go to places like Portman Road and win, quite, them having enough day and you getting a bit of luck. Not going to mention names, but
that was more than you, boy.
Over 46 games. Over 46 games. No, obviously Lincoln deserved to win on the day. Over 46 games, you can't get lucky. Deflected goals, come on now. The way they scored late goals, again, I didn't get it. But Ipswich, again, were very grateful and, to just get second and win promotion. So well done to them for that. Really good season. For Fleetwood, though, look, 18 points from the last 9 home games, much better. Performances have to improve. I cannot watch another year of what I've just watched. Believe me, it's boring. I want to see better. I want to see a creativity. I want to see a spark, man. I want to see us get at teams because this Fleetwood, right, only released 3 players today. Disgusting that there was nothing there for a club legend in Alex Cairns, by the way. It angered me. I thought there might still be something, but if you were going to announce it, there's something there. Dan Batty left the football club, which I thought he's one of our best midfielders. And Darnell Johnson, who played a grand total of about 4 times over 2 years, got injured. Was a talent, but was never played because of injury. There's a core there. Wiradu, Robertson, Vela, Earl, Rooney, Marriott, Stockley, Phoenix, Lynch, all the players that come to mind. You add a little bit of quality to that, and Fleetwood can easily be in the top 10. Jake,
big call.
Can be.
I'll touch
3 or 4 points off this season.
I'll touch on Ipswich first. Go and check out this fella's video on how Ipswich got promoted because that was a really good watch. They both were, the Ipswich and the Plymouth one. So go and check them out. But
a bit of flack for putting Ipswich first.
Yeah,
they both got a video.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably not the 2 sets of fan bases that when it comes to talking about how good Ipswich were this year, because they've not beat you, they've not beat us. We took 4 points, you took 2 points off them. So sorry to anger you all Ipswich fans, but they've been a good side. They've been a credit to League One this year. They went toe to toe with Burnley in the FA Cup as well. They were cruelly beat up at Turf Moor, similar to yourselves. Not everyone can win at Turf Moor in the FA Cup, so it seems. But you know what? They've had a really good year, and fair play to her. You keep that on. I think Ipswich, like we've said, Ben off air and privately, and we spoke to Wardy and we spoke to Tom about it. They'll be right next year. They'll be one hell of a side next year. They'll be pushing. To say Sunderland are finishing the playoffs again this year in the Championship, Ipswich are a better side than that Sunderland side that went up. So.
I've only been saying that to you for the last 6 weeks. You finally agree with me now. Yeah, 6 weeks ago, you didn't agree.
No qualms. But on Fleetwood, Ben, I agree. You're not a great watch. Disappointed, obviously, with Cairns. Obviously, you're big mates with him. Been a bit of a club legend. You can't just let them go like that. I think that's really disgraceful. But yeah, I can see what you mean. You're getting a bit of a core. I think what Fleetwood might need to do is they've been very good at bringing in youth talents and young players in. I think if you do that a little bit, if you buy some younger players in from Premier League out, so from likes of Everton, Liverpool, United, City, I feel like you might have a chance.
I just need to address anyone that's just joined. This is the bet. Now, I'm not a Lincoln fan. Far from it. This is the bet. I'm just a man of my word. That is it. I'm not going on Twitter tonight, believe me. I agree. Go on, Jake. I agree with the loanees. Lewis Warrington was okay. Mendes Gomez okay as well.
Yeah.
Fleetwood did have a younger squad. So did Lincoln. Lincoln obviously fielded the youngest squad in the league this season.
Yeah.
What was it, 22, 23 years old, something like that. You beat Shrewsbury 1-0. You turned into prime Real Madrid the last 9 games of the season. So well done. Enjoy me wearing the shirt. I hope it makes you very happy. Dear Lord Lincoln, what a sad little life. You ruined my night just so you can finish above Fleetwood and have the glory.
Do you know what, Ben? I knew it from when you might have beat us, but I knew on that. I walked out of that ground and went, we played better. We actually played better than you on that day. I thought you beat us fair and square. You were decent. You were decent, but
Paddy Lane scored the goal of the season against you guys.
Oh yeah, the one that was offside.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what? I was really, I walked out there and thought, we've actually played all right there.
Yeah, you did. It wasn't.
I don't
think it helped that both sides were safe. I think if he played 2 months earlier, it would have been a much better game.
I think it's no coincidence that we've been better since Jack Diamond left. Obviously, he's gone off, and we've played a different style. Look, on Sunday we were really poor. Shrewsbury actually I thought were really good. The lad on loan from Palace, Phillips, fantastic footballer, real athlete, real engine. They hit the bar. Rushy made a couple of really good saves. The game was sort of ebbing and flowing. But then Mark Kennedy this year, time and time again, has made changes from the bench, and it alters the way that we play. He did it again. He took off Duffy. He brought on. Who did he bring on? Sanders, and do you know what? It just clicked. Matty Virtue, seconds before he scored the goal, had a really good effort saved by the keeper. And then, like you say, Matty Virtue, Blackpool loanee, he goes and puts Lincoln back above Fleetwood, so normal order is restored. However, one takeaway that I do want to take away, Ben, I don't know, you wouldn't have noticed this because you weren't at the game. We won a penalty, 89th minute, Che Dunkley gets sent off. We have 2 Lincoln players, Max Sanders, Harry Boys, playing rock, paper, scissors for a penalty. And do you know what? Good. They fucking missed. Good. You don't deserve it. Anyway, great season. Fantastic. We're going to be all right next year. We're going to be pushing for the top 6, hopefully. But, yes.
What you done if that was at Wembley?
I was fuming. I turned to my mates next to me and I went, they've actually played effing rock, paper, scissors.
I tell you what, I'd have loved him that to be in the last minute to go above Fleetwood and he missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just be coming on going.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll quickly go to Accrington. What a win for them. Unfortunately, it was 45 games too late. But again, one thing I want to mention on this channel, they've conceded 77 goals this year. Over the last 2 seasons, Accrington have conceded 157 goals. 157 goals. It's mental. It is mental. You cannot concede that amount of goals. And the difference is, Jake, although they conceded 3 less this season, this year they didn't have Colby Bishop.
Yeah.
And that is the difference. That is it. They have Colby Bishop. You have 15 to 20 goals more. They have 15 to 20 points more. And that also indicates why they're 17 points worse off. I can't see another reason why they've struggled this year, bar from the fact that red cards as well.
Yeah, worst side in the division, Ben. I've said this time and time again. And it's too late for them. They were as good as down last week. Are you checking your Twitter? Because Jack, I believe my good friend Jack has just tagged you in something that I am going to very much pin when I get off this broadcast. So beautiful. Do you know what?
This is the last, by the way, you'll see of me. I'm done.
Until the playoffs.
I'm done.
Are we going to talk? We're going to talk about Oxford, the Oxford game. But do you know what? The worst side in the division, they've still managed to beat Oxford. So Wardy, what's going on? Your club is a bit of a shambles this year, but just a nightmare, really, isn't it? All round, Ben.
It is. Oxford stayed up. On them, the defence again was better this year than it was last year because they did 3 less goals. But they scored 33 less goals. And Oxford were always good for scoring lots of goals, weren't they? 3, 4 a game, relentless, especially at home. And that is the worry. And to kind of finish 29 points off where he did last year also indicates that. And Oxford, I think, have a lot of work to be done in the summer. I think they're where Fleetwood and Lincoln were 12 months ago. Like a massive lift is needed. And it might take 3-4 years to get back to where Oxford were at. Right, can people stop tweeting me now, by the way? Anyway, next up, if you don't already follow me on Twitter, FTSE Nappers for all your League One content as well.
I'm gonna have to pay Jack double for that for when I next go for an haircut next week.
Yeah, no wonder you're always skinny. You're having haircuts every week at this rate. You're worse than Micah Richards. Right, Plymouth beat Port Vale 3-1. What a win for Plymouth. Championes, 101 points, 61 at home, 40 away. 8 wins of the last 9 games, won the last 6 games. They didn't bottle it like people said they would. Many deflected goals. All luck, people said. Absolute load of cobblers. Well done to them, by the way, for winning promotion. Be-done. And they just deserved it. They took 4 points off Ipswich. They beat Wednesday in the last minute at home, and these, results have, done them justice. And Plymouth Argyle should be very proud of themselves. They're a phenomenal act. They've got a phenomenal manager and a very good fan base as well. Yeah,
best team in the league, Ben. Ipswich have been good, but Plymouth have just been that relentless monster. I sort of think it's been a bit similar to the Premier League this year. I think Arsenal have maybe been the best team in the league this year, similar to Ipswich, but Man City are just relentless. They know what they're doing.
They just win. They just tune it out, don't they? And it's kind of like Plymouth, you trust them now.
Yeah, they're just relentless, Ben. I caught them on a really off day a couple of weeks ago, but since then, like you said, they've just gone bang, 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 win. And do you know what? I was a little bit worried for them on Sunday after they went 1-0 down. I thought, hold on, they're maybe close to achieving something. Similar to Wembley, they've gone goal down early. How they're going to react? Completely different sort of side now to what they were 8-9 weeks ago. Just relentless. And do you know what? Fair play to them. I've really, really loved the football club, love the people again. I don't think they're going to struggle in the Championship next year.
I don't. I think they'll be comfortable.
I think they will be, and you might not like me for saying this, but I think when Blackpool first went up and they finished mid-table under Critchley, I wouldn't be surprised if they had a similar sort of season.
They're a similar club, similar ground, similar everything, really.
They deserve it. They've by far been the best team in the league this year, but they've got some really good players, and if they can get Morgan Whittaker back, they'll be. If they can look at trying to buy Barley Mumba, it could be exciting for Plymouth going forward, I think.
Absolutely, you've got so many good players doing so many different things, and I just hate when people call them lucky, because it's not lucky. You can get lucky over 3 games, 5 games. You can't do it over 46 games. No. Look, have they scored lots of last-minute goals? Yes, but it's still a goal in the 100th minute of the game still counts as much as the 50th minute in the game or the 34th minute in the game. Look, Ipswich went up as well. It didn't really... Look, if I'm honest with you, I think Ipswich will finish above Plymouth next year for all that matters, right? But Plymouth just found a way to win. They just dug it out, Groundhog Day. And when you do that, then a bit like Bolton have done for the playoffs. They've not done it in the greatest of style, don't get me wrong, but they've done it. That's all that matters. It's all about getting the job done. And to finish 21 points higher off than last year is phenomenal. 181 points at a possible 236 is, remarkable. Well done to everyone involved in that football club as well. Again, Port of Wycombe again, 2-2 draw. We'll rattle through these fixtures now. What do you think of it? Both sides, the 8th for the 9th place trophy. Obviously, I predicted them in similar areas, the video on that late in the week. Kind of both sides need to improve next year if they want to push on. Yeah,
good game as well by all accords. I think obviously you've seen the Lewis Wing goal that the EFL dubbed from the halfway line, even though he's about 15 yards inside the Pompey half. If you want to find a real goal from the halfway line, go and check out Lass Sorensen's away at Adams Park. Far better goal. But yeah, just a really.
Tell you
game.
what.
Go on.
every time you mention next season Lincoln doing something good, right,
No.
after the first time, we're going to put 50p in a pot, and at the end of the season, I'm going to go and get drunk. And believe me, I'll be out till the start of the season after. Believe me. If you Laurie Sorensen's goal, you're beating Ipswich at Pullman Road, and you're winning at Plymouth.
Yeah.
Believe me, it's not been mentioned, has it?
No, I don't. Do you know what, Ben?
Bit shy.
I'm a really humble kind of guy, Ben. But yeah, no, it was a good game. I think both of them need a really good window in the summer. They need a hard reset. Obviously, both under new managers. I think it'd be interesting to see what direction they both go. I think Bloomfield, like we've mentioned, is going to completely go different away from what Ainsworth's been trying to do, play sort of on the floor. What I did like, Ben, was, I don't know if you saw it on Twitter, 130 odd Spanish fellas went over to Wycombe. I know I interviewed a guy called, I can't remember his name. Javier, the Mexican fella. He brought a load of the Spanish.
I don't know if that's correct, by the way. I'm just guessing. And Mexican.
But yeah, they took 130 odd Spanish chaps with them to Fratton Park. I think they had a bit of a party as well.
More Spanish though went to Fratton Park with Wycombe than Fleetwood fans went to Fratton Park.
Yeah,
says it all, doesn't it?
Timper. Carry
on. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Derby 0. We'll go to Wednesday, 96 points. You finished third. You've lost 3 games in 33. You've won 5 of your last 6 games. You've won your last 4. So people saying Wednesday are in bad form, that's a myth. Because, let's be honest, it is. And they get the penalty. And that one moment has sealed Derby's fate. And well done to Wednesday for mounting that amount of points. It's like a Notts County situation. They could maybe still not go up. But Derby County, Jake, as well. Davis sent off, penalty given. After that, you kind of knew, well, Peterborough 1-0 up here. Could it be Peterborough's day? Can they hold on? Then it was in their hands.
Yeah, and do you know what? It's been the game up the case all season. It's not a penalty. It's not a red card. It's the wrong decision, and it's cost Derby big time. Derby get a point. I don't know what the goal difference is like as to whether they finish in the playoffs instead of Posh, but they get a point at Hillsborough, then they may be looking at finishing in the top 6 anyway. So, look, the refereeing's been awful in League One all season, Ben. I think we all, every single League One.
If Derby got that point,
they've got
one extra goal difference.
Yeah.
I knew it was tight, but I didn't know it was that tight.
It was.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the wrong decision, obviously. I think, and Sheffield Wednesday, fair play, they profited off it, and they go and win the game, and to get 96 points and not go up is something I feel that almost only Sheffield Wednesday could do. But yeah, no, I think it'll be interesting to see how Wednesday, if they can get promoted. But for Derby, you'd be gutted. But I've said this tonight. Boz is a Derby fan, and Toz as well. They're both brothers, funny enough, Boz and Toz. I think staying in League One is going to do them good. I think that a full season. I think they. Yeah. I said to Boz,
like Ipswich, like Wednesday.
Yeah, full season under Paul Warne, Derby get promoted. No, I've got no doubt in my mind. I think they recruit. They weren't ready better. This year. They're fixing things off the pitch. They're getting sorted. And do you know what? Like I said before, Ben, we previewed the weekend last week. I said to have Derby County still here. 12 months ago, we didn't know where they were going to be, what they were going to be doing. To have them here, nearly in the playoffs, I think it's a good year. Next year for me, they'll be my favourites to get promoted.
Absolutely. So the top 2 ended, as you know, Plymouth. Ipswich, then the playoffs are currently Sheffield Wednesday. They will play Peterborough over 2 legs, and Barnsley will play Bolton. Obviously, you think Barnsley are going to go up.
No, I don't.
You think they play Sheffield Wednesday? So again?
No, I don't. I think
Bolton. Said Bolton.
Yeah.
Bolton, sorry. I think it was that game. Do you think they play in the final? I'm not going to give any of my predictions away. There's a video later on, and we'll also be doing lots of watch-alongs for the playoffs as well.
I've got to say Wednesday, I know. I've got to say Wednesday. If you ask me, Ben, obviously I've been to all the games this year. Out of Wednesday and Peterborough, who's impressed me the most over the course of 2 games. Peterborough by a long way.
100% agree.
But
We beat Peterborough twice.
Well, yeah, Wednesday have been so disappointing in the games. Maybe it's just a Lincoln thing. I don't know. But I just think that over 46 games, they've won 28 games, but I back them to win 2 more to get into a playoff final. But Bolton know how of winning at Wembley this season under Ian Evatt. They play good football. They've got options. They've got probably the best goalkeeper in the league. I just fancy Bolton to do it on a one-off over Sheffield Wednesday.
Absolutely. We will be covering the playoffs later on as well, so that'll be a separate kind of video. The relegation area, where do you see teams, finishing next year? Because the teams that went down last year didn't do too well. Doncaster have just relieved Danny Schofield as manager, and all the teams that we've lost this year will still be covered on these streams next year. So make sure you stay subscribed for them. And if you haven't already, please like today's stream, subscribe as well. Also go and follow Jake_Tong98 on Twitter as well. He's got his own stuff coming out at the start of next season, which everyone can't wait for. Honestly, they're up all night thinking about the content about to be made. No, obviously he's going to produce some good stuff as well. Where do you kind of see him? Because I see Morecambe again struggling because look, they're in a similar position where Derby were. 12 months ago, 5 players at the football club, ownership issues, managerial issues.
Yep.
They haven't really got the best of academies to rely on as well. Forest Green Rovers have had a disastrous season. Where do they go? They really need to rebuild as well. They've lost, all the momentum that they were, once having. And then you look at Accrington Stanley. Do they have enough to mount the push? And MK Dons, you don't with the size of the football club. I know it's only 7 or 8K. The ground size is big as well. They've surely got a field to bring in players. They're probably the most likely, but it won't surprise me if all 4 stay in League Two.
I'm going to sound really crazy here. I think Forest Green are the most likely to come back up. I just think they are. The squad that they've got, I know it sounds really bizarre. I think they're an exceptional League Two outfit and a rubbish League One outfit. Similar to how we see teams yo-yo in between. Like with Game 1 this year with Northampton. Fantastic League Two outfit. Get to League One, can't perform. And Northampton will be, obviously it's recruitment pending, will be one of my favourites to go down regardless of what happens because that's what they do. So for me, Forest Green are the most likely. They've got a lot of good players that I think that are still under contract that won't leave. Like McCann, who's come through at United and Rangers. I think he'll be brilliant next year. Jordan Garrick, far too good for League Two. I think I agree. I think MK, Accrington and Morecambe will all be mid-table, similar to what we've seen Gillingham and Doncaster and Crewe achieve this year, really. And it'll be disappointing. But I think that for Accrington, they need to move on, I think, as a football club. They need to go past the John Coleman era, try and make it themselves an identity. Morecambe, get the ownership stuff sorted. That's the most important thing. And then for MK Dons, I couldn't care less. They're franchise FC. Do what they want. Right in non-league, they deserve it. And Viva La Wimbledon, Ben.
MK Dons, obviously, is it a sad story to see them go? I wasn't really fussed to lose them, if I'm honest with you. But again, you've got to I try and treat every team in this league the same as everyone else. I couldn't stand like they'll never move on from John Coleman, and that's the issue. It's like saying with a girl that doesn't treat you right. That's what it's like. And it's like, you're just never going to change. And it's kind of like, well, you know what I mean? Not that I'd know.
What do you know about that, Ben?
But that's what I kind of feel like. I think it's kind of got to that stage where things need to change. Morecambe, if you can keep Derek Adams there, I think he'll stay. I really do. But ownership needs to change there. And they are rotten to the core. I'm not even going to listen to what you said.
Ben, you just said, I think if they'll keep Derek Adams, I think he'll stay.
All right. I think if you can keep Derek Adams happy, I meant, and the ownership sorts itself out, I think he'll stay. It's you baffling on about. Tell you what, I need to get this crap off. That's what it is. Anyway, so yeah, I can kind of see Morecambe struggling next year. I really can. It's going to be interesting. It really is. Player predictions. We are going to do a stream on that separately as well, or a video. Again, if you've got any What?
Are we not going to go through mid-table?
We will do in a minute. Give me a minute.
There's an area from about 13th to 11th that I really want to cover.
Give me. I've done it now. It's off. Oh, I can breathe again. Right. Right. So, again, guys, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. We are so close to 11,000 subscribers now. We've got so much content. Still got a team of the season to do. Still got reaction to the table predictions, so playoff. And we're going to be doing a playoff watch along for every single game, all being well. So stay tuned. For that, mid-table teams, which teams you see? Don't say Lincoln because I'm Fleetwood. Don't say that because we can both say that for ourselves. Any other team that you can kind of see pushing on next season, because Charlton are the obvious ones. But other than that, I'm not too sure really.
I'm gonna sound crazy, Ben. Exeter.
Yes.
I just got a feeling.
They need to keep the likes of
Nombe.
God, it only took me 8 weeks to get his name. So God, the players that are coming up from League Two.
Nomble.
Pilgriani at centre after Nevenage. Do you know what I mean?
Look, Sam Hopkins at Northampton.
Yeah. No, but literally, right, everyone else has a summer off, right? From the months of June the 1st to June 27th, all I'm doing is pronouncing the names, trying to get him somehow correct. I don't leave my bedroom. No, but it's going to be interesting to the teams that come up. We're going to have a look at them in a minute. Exeter, they need to keep, non-bait. Demetri Mitchell has been very, very good as well. Those type, I could see that. I could see Charlton, he really pushing for top two if they get the act together with the ownership. There's no reason why they can't. Do I think they will? No. Lincoln, yeah. Fleetwood and Lincoln are very in similar situations where they just need to add a little bit of quality to the teams that they've got already. So it's going to be very, very interesting. What from the teams that have joined us, Reading, Wigan, Blackpool from the Championship. Reading have got financial issues. Obviously, got a deduction with 6 points. Otherwise, it would have been Huddersfield, but Neil Warnock kept them up. And then Blackpool have obviously had issues with managerial appointments. And Wigan are in it like a circus right now, aren't they? It's, I can see all three coming down and not having it all their own way.
Yeah, I can see all three of them not impacting the promotion race whatsoever. And normally when Wigan come down, you expect them to be straight back up the top, but they're in such a mess. And the problem with Wigan is, Ben, they've been here before. Was it 3 years ago they came into the league, same position, points deductions, not paid the players, new owners come in, same things happen. If I was a Wigan fan, I'd be extremely annoyed. Although I do know that the local journal, I think it's Matt, is it Matt Kendrick? He's doing a interview with the owner, unfiltered. He's going to live stream it all, so that might be something to keep an eye over the summer. But Wigan will be a mess next year. I think they'll be sort of lower half of the table. Blackpool, I don't think the quality. They've made so many wrong decisions over the last 12 months that I don't think they've got the setting stones to go straight back up. And then Reading are a mess, like you say, Ben. That they're not really sure what's left and what's right. So I agree. I don't think any of the Championship clubs are going to make an impact on the top 10.
Yeah. Teams coming up. Well done to Leighton Orient for winning the league. Richie Wellens, a face that's been in League One before with Oldham Athletic. Obviously, and then League Two with Salford City. Done very well there. And obviously, you've got Stevenage who joined them, who kind of overachieved under Steve Evans, our good friend. And then welcome to the party to Northampton, who pipped Stockport. Northampton have been very unfortunate over the last 12 months to 2 years to not be in League One. They finally got a crack at it. And also the one of Stockport County, Carlisle, Bradford or Salford will join them.
Who do you want, Ben? I know who I want to come up. Shall I tell you who I want?
Stockport or Bradford or I want anyone. I know we're going to get one because I don't want Carlisle. We'll get Carlisle.
Yeah.
Bradford is good because you go to a ground with 16, 17k and it adds another big club to League One.
Yeah.
Stockport would be a great day out, and I think they would just be a breath of fresh air to this division. I really do. You know, they've got some great home support. It's very much similar to Lincoln. And then Salford because of Cairnsey. Simple as that.
I think my answer is pretty obvious. I want Bradford. The connection that Lincoln and Bradford have over the fire disaster, God, I'm going to tear up talking about it. Is massive. So to attempt to be at a Lincoln Bradford game would be incredibly special. The tribute to the 56 that died would be great. And you know what? I don't know if I should say this, but I think that the Bradford fire disaster needs to be remembered more in football. Everyone talks about Hillsborough, no one talks about Bradford. And as a supporter of a club that is directly involved with that, and knowing the families that are directly involved in that, I think it needs to be spoken about more often. So that's a little bit on that. But Bradford City for me all day long, purely from an emotional point of view. But I wouldn't mind Stockport either, to be honest.
Your good mates Mansfield missed out by a goal as well on the playoffs.
Oh, where's Ian? Where's Ian? Hello, Ian. Nice to see you, mate. He's on his own now, look, isn't he? What a shame. Good. You come up. What a shame. You bottle jobs again.
So, again, it's been a roller coaster League One season. We'll be doing the League One awards later on in the month as well. But what is... Just before we wrap up for Q&A, if you've got any questions, quickly put them in the comment section below. Also, like the channel, like the stream, subscribe down below. We're smashing it to 11k. Any surprises this season in League One? Obviously, you know, teams winning promotion or anything that's kind of shocked you, players standing out, or a certain result doesn't need to involve Lincoln, please.
Oxford. For me, are the surprise of League One this year in a really bad way, and I'm sure Wardy will absolutely agree with me. Everyone sort of would have had them sort of similar to where Portsmouth and Wycombe and the teams finishing outside the playoffs. Maybe Derby were going to finish, but that run that they went on just absolutely horrendous, and they deserve to be where they were. But it was a surprise because Carl Robinson, like you say. And they play such good attacking football. It's just deserted them this year. And I tell you what, I bet Brannigan's regretting signing that contract now.
Absolutely. And also Shrewsbury, quickly.
Yeah.
Today reported big losses of £2.359 million over the last few years, and saying how unstable it is. Fleetwood lost 1.6, and that's classed as a good year for us. That's kind of the difference that with ownership can do. I know Lincoln lost a little bit more as well, but it is worrying times. Them, Cottrell. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not at the football club.
Yeah, I actually checked. I often go and check the quotes after the games of what managers have said, and there's a massive reshuffle at Shrewsbury. He knows nothing about it.
He said something like, what do you think about what's going on? He goes, well, I don't know. I'm obviously not important at this football club. Something on the lines of that.
Yeah, and I just think that to me is a manager that knows that he's not going to be there in 5 weeks' time. 1
win in 10. And although they've improved massively this season, I think they got 9 points better off, 59 points. They had 55 points from 35, 36 games. Only 1 win in 10 games, which is worrying. I know they played a lot of the bigger boys, but it's like when you get to the point of when's it going to change, really? So it's going to be interesting.
And to be fair, Ben, Shrewsbury probably deserved a top 10 finish. They were probably the best of the rest, but this run they've gone on is just...
Yeah, it was achievable for anyone. Anyone from at one given stage, let's be honest, from Port Vale up to Charlton, there was 8 or 9 teams that could have easily finished 10th. And it's just runs at Port Vale, we hardly mentioned. They only won 4 out of the last 23 games. And again, we're going to have content over the summer for you guys, like regular streams of what's going on. They'll be a bit more or less relaxed because there'll be less to talk about. But stay tuned for them as well. Who'll be the next Vale manager? It's a good question because who did they go for? I know, obviously, Crewe are not rivals of such, but they're near enough. Dave Artell, it would be a good shout, someone like that.
I
You
don't
could
think
even
it'd be
go and knock on
popular.
Derek Adams' door, out
Yeah.
of contract. And let's be honest, was it wrong to sack the manager? I think it was. I think Darryl Clark was a good manager, but I think there's things going on behind the dressing room that we don't know about. I reckon Derek Adams will be a good shout because they have got a good board now, Port Vale. That must be said.
If they can persuade him, Danny Cowley would be a great fit at Port Vale. I think
Vale, they've got one good thing they'll give managers time these days.
Yeah.
And Danny Cowley, let's be honest, what he did with Lincoln was remarkable. But he's not one of those he's not like a Paul Warren. He's not like a Sam Allardyce. He can't come in for 6 games doing that job like that and short term. You need to give him 3-4 years. And if you do, it's been known that he can do it quicker, don't get me wrong, but he can do it, over a long, to give him 6 windows, as you always say. And you never know. 4 to go down next season. It's hard to say right now, but I think Port Vale will be in trouble. I honestly do. I think Oxford will be in trouble as it is. But things could have totally changed. Do you know what I mean?
We've got recruitment, Ben. We've got the whole summer window ahead.
Exactly. It's hard to say right now, but
we might be worried about Port Vale, Ben. They might go and sign Lionel Messi on a free.
Exactly. And it'd be disrespectful to say Stevenage, Leighton Orient or Northampton because after what they've just achieved, it would be. Yeah. We need to see what they do.
I have a question. I have a question. Can you put your shirt back on, please?
What?
Can you put the shirt back on, please? It's just no.
I said till the end of the League One part. I did it for an hour. That was it. Anything else is a bonus. The Fleetwood players on a wicked hour and diffusion before games still.
No. They played Together in Electric. That was a great tune. I was bopping away to that.
It's a great tune, isn't it? When's he sacked the manager? If he don't go up, I could see Darren Moore getting the boot.
Yeah,
really could.
Where do they turn though? Where would they turn? Do you think?
I don't know. I really don't know. With all the money issues affecting the Championship teams, do you think the status of quo will League One be changing? Well, yes, but also what needs to be said: this new Sky deal. Now, I've only just started to get my head around this. So there's 200 odd games being shown from League One and League Two each, right? Over the course of the season, what is it, 12 a week, 480, 552 games, I think it is. Quick math. I'm not sure if that's correct. If it is, I've done well. It's going to be games on a Sunday, innit? Friday night, Monday night, because they can't televise Saturday 3 o'clock. But the one way they can get round of it, they'll be showing all Tuesday games on the red button. So if you think, well, there's 10 Tuesday night games in a season, something like that, all of a sudden then they've shown 120 of the games then they only need to show another 80 from the other 36 game weeks. You know what I mean? So they can easily kind of get round it. And one thing they need to do, Sky, with this kind of thing, Barnsley Ipswich, why wasn't that ever televised? Why? Because they knew it was rearranged. They could have easily, because they've got the rights to do it, 2 weeks. Well, I'm not being funny. Barnsley are 4th, Ipswich is 3rd at the time, 2nd. Let's televise it. So they've got the power to maybe do that more now. And look, it is going to change everything, but it'll maybe put teams on an equal platform, which is going to be interesting, isn't it, Jake?
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's great that the EFL are doing a deal with Sky and they're getting more money to the football clubs. Hopefully that money is a bit more evenly distributed as well. It's been over the last couple of years. My one main worry would be for the people that go home and away nappers like me and you, as you'll see with the Premier League and all sorts of other competitions, they really take the absolute mick with kickoff times, and they, for example, you could be. What if they put Fleetwood Exeter on TV 12:30 kickoff? What? I know they might not, but it's completely disrespecting you as a supporter, and I think that Sky has to be very careful with that because you don't want to aggravate the fan. He swore there. You don't want to aggravate the fans too much because they're the ones using the service, but you still want them to come to games, which is why, and we've had this discussion before, the blackout is probably the worst idea. We have to back we have to back the blackout. We don't want games on at 3 o'clock on a Saturday, or else we'll all be affected.
Absolutely. Yes, we will be, Tony. We'll be covering the first legs on Friday and Saturday, and all being well, the second legs as well. We're definitely doing the final, and we've definitely done the first legs. Just making sure the second leg. Also, before we answer a few more questions, Jake's future still got to be decided. We've got to look at the old budget for next season. We have got interest from other parties as well. Again, it'd be interesting to see if we renew his contract, a night out in Trilogy.
You need to put the retain list out, Nappers. You need to do a retain list.
Exactly, yeah. Tom, where are you? 4-0. I need to agree terms with you before I get rid of him. Again, I'm looking forward to fixture release day, which is very, very soon as well. But there's something very interesting that I find with fixture release day, Jake. Somehow, you play all the other different 23 teams twice. Once at home and once away. I know that's hard to get your head around.
Yeah, but you want to start on a good footing, don't you? Like for everyone, Ben.
You look at your first. You always look at your first game and you kind of think, "Oh, hang on a minute." And say if you go away first, say you go Plymouth, Portsmouth away, you lose that, and all of a sudden you're at home to Exeter, you lose that, and you kind of think, "Oh, here we go." And it's like, when does that? You need that first win. So being at home. You don't want to play a promoted team on the first day of the season.
I think all 22 teams that aren't Fleetwood and Blackpool will be going, do you know what? I hope we get Fleetwood or Blackpool away in August, or get it in May, because that would be a nice weekender.
I'm saying the same for Lincoln. We've always had you lucky in Lincoln in August. I totally agree. The away fans are not thought of. Sky, Wednesday have more money than Preston with Ridsdale in charge. Again, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next season. But again, that is the end of tonight's stream. Thank you so much for your phenomenal support all season. And a good thank you to my mate Jake Tong for attending the streams when he could be bothered to. No, again, a big thank you to Jake for coming on the streams all season long. It's been a great ride. There's still plenty more League One content coming from us. Again, we've got playoff watch-alongs, we've got playoff previews, we've got team of the season, we've got a video with Jake coming out very soon, and guest, hopefully all being well. Jake, any final words, mate?
No, mate. Just been another successful season of Cup and League One. Really enjoyed hopping on here every week. It's been a bit of therapy sometimes for me and you, Ben, hasn't it? But also it's been a good way to gloat to my club's achievements. So, yeah, just really enjoyed getting to know people this year. Met some really good people from making content with. And just enjoyed the ride, and hopefully next year we go up to new levels and do better things. But yeah, really enjoyed it. So thank you for having me, Ben.
Absolutely, and thank you for those that have subscribed and liked and been there throughout the ride. There's still plenty more streams. We'll be doing playoff reactions like this, so stay tuned for that. Again, guys, please like the stream on your way out. A big thank you to everyone that has watched the vlogs or support me this year through difficult times as well. It's massively appreciated. A big over and out from me. Up the Kyods, and I hopefully won't be wearing that again. Jake, I'll be posting that back to you as soon as possible. Believe me, you can have it back. And yeah, a big over and out for me, Jake. Any final words?
Shout out to my Mrs. Sophie of the Imps.
He's got a missus, by the way, if you didn't know. Beep. Sorry for another missus update. But again, hello to Jake's missus as well. That will hopefully be kicking into shape very soon. So thank you very much for watching. A big over and out. Up the Kyods, up the Sky Bet, League One.
Up the Imps. Go on.